Hey everybody, Monty Reed here with a quick saute mushroom tip. Now I usually use the Thrive mushrooms, but this time I just happened to get a deal on some mushrooms. And these, you always want to rinse them with a colander. So I already washed them, but basically I use a colander that fits in a big bowl, dump it in, fill it with water, and I will wash the mushrooms by hand and then strain it out. And then you could saute them with all kinds of different flavors, but this is something I learned when I was a teenager, just because I wanted mushrooms sauteed. I've talked to some nutrition folks that say that mushrooms activate the nutrients when they get cooked. And I haven't had a chance to look into that. I don't know if it's true or not, but I know they sure taste a lot better cooked. But for a quick, easy, fast saute, I'll just use any standard off-the-shelf Italian dressing because it has oil and seasonings already in there, and I like the vinegar flavor and the oil's already there. So for a quick saute, all you need to do is take your mushrooms, put them in the pan, take your Italian dressing and shake it up, and then just liberally, depending on how much you like the flavor, you put that Italian dressing in there, and you've got the oil and the seasoning all together. And with other slam cooking, what I prefer to do is keep it hot and keep it moving. And so now we're going to be cooking it and making sure that it gets turned so every mushroom gets drenched in the seasoning and that it gets sauteed on all sides. And this is a great side dish, quick and easy. You don't have to measure anything really. You just wash your mushrooms, get the pan hot. As I usually do, I'll get the pan hot, usually put some oil in there and let it start to smoke just a little bit. But for this, you just turn the pan on high, and 20 to 30 seconds later, you're ready to throw those mushrooms in, depending on how hot your stove gets. I like to cook with gas, as everyone knows. Gas usually heats up quicker, and when you shut it off, it's off. If you use an electric, you got to know that when you do shut it off, you usually need to move the pan to a different burner because that induction heat keeps coming up through the coils. But for cooking with gas, as they like to say, now we're cooking with gas, it cooks a lot hotter and faster. So quick saute mushroom tip is take your mushrooms, wash them thoroughly using a colander in a bowl, rinse it out. I dump the water out. I usually rinse it about 3 or 4 times because the mushrooms are so short. A lot of times the potting soil and other fertilizer, etc., is still on the mushrooms when you get it. And so we don't want those minerals added to our dish. And so I like to thoroughly wash the mushrooms. And then, like I said, you just use the Italian dressing as the saute base because it has the seasoning and the oil already in there. And as I was talking about with noodles and other things, you can feel how firm the mushrooms are when you tap it with your spatula or other utensil. You can feel how firm it is. And I like the mushrooms to just soften just a little bit, not too soggy and droopy, but I like to just get them soft so that they have the flavor cooked in. I don't like them mushy, but I do like to have them soften. But so what you'll want to do is just feel the mushrooms, how tender they are as they're cooking, and that'll help you to know when they're done. And of course, more times you do it, the better you're going to get at that technique of tapping. That technique's really helpful when you're doing noodles, to get the noodles from that hard, dried state to al dente. And if you do I do have some folks that like the noodles softer than al dente, then again that tapping is going to really help you get that to where you like it. So this is Monty Reed with a quick saute mushroom tip, just using mushrooms and your standard Italian dressing. And here are those amazing sauteed mushrooms plated up, and you can use traditional mushrooms from the market or you can use the Thrive mushrooms. With the Thrive mushrooms, of course, you're going to want to throw in, if you do a cup of mushrooms, you want to do half a cup of water with those, and water saute those first for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then you're going to throw in the Italian dressing for that seasoning and oil. This is Monty Reed with a cooking tip for sauteed mushrooms.
I don't always eat, but when I do, I prefer thriving. Keep thriving, my friends.